Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we take a look at the astrological energies from August 2nd until August 9th, as we are now fully in the 8th month of the year that began with a very powerful Aquarius full moon. The Aquarius full moon is typically one of the most powerful ones of the year because what it stirs up that can shock or surprise us, that maybe brings something front and center for you to see, for you to work through. Perhaps even something that you thought was complete, it comes back around. So we begin August with this energy, and we're going to close out the month of August with the Pisces full moon. So we have two full moons during this calendar month, which makes this month extra big emotionally and energetically. It is going to accentuate some things in your world and in your life that you need to make choices about, very clear, defined choices. And that energy is coming through with the planets we have in Virgo right now. So I'm going to discuss more of that in today's show. Plus, we are moving through the Lionsgate portal energies. And I just did a show for you on Monday, July 31st, covering more of that topic, but I will touch on it in this weekly episode as well. But first, we're going to start with a very clear theme that is unfolding as we move into August. And the theme is between two areas of your chart. So the sun is moving through Leo. We also have Venus retrograde in Leo. And each of these is bringing our attention to the Leo areas of our chart. Now, the sun is the brightest source of light in our solar system. It creates so much energy, power, and life force that we rely on. And we know that in astrology, wherever the sun is traveling through is where the solar consciousness of the sun is shining a light on this area of your life, of your experience, of your energy. So the sun moving through Leo opens up these energies for us to experience, to understand, to integrate. Venus retrograde in Leo is about the review process of Venus in Leo energies. And so this is also a topic I've covered in previous episodes. And the Venus retrograde was where we need to slow down, be more intentional, be more conscious of our energy, but specifically as it relates to what we want, what we need, what we desire. Venus also connects to our self-value, self-worth, and confidence. And so this is a time to review and look at what is showing up in your world and in your life that supports you, that is loving, respectful, kind. This is where we review relationships. We look at friendships. We look at partnerships. We look at family connections. And we start to see things in a different way. And we see them in a different light based on multiple things that are involved in every connection. And there could be some things here that you are reassessing. Maybe there is someone or some people in your life that you're realizing you don't have much in common with anymore. You don't share values, which is a Venus theme. Maybe there are people who don't value you and or you don't value them, meaning it's no longer an important connection or relationship. Maybe there's some things you're looking at and realizing, I don't want to put any more time, energy, or effort into this. Even something as clear as, okay, this person is not really a true friend. This individual is not someone that I trust or someone that I really have much in common with or want to connect with. So relationships undergo a big cycle of reconsideration. And keep in mind, this could also be something you're experiencing from someone else. If you have felt their energy pull back or retract, this is also where you might find yourself needing more space, needing more time alone, wanting to step back if something is too intense or too much. If you're in a strong relationship, partnership, or connection, the Venus retrograde can help strengthen it. It can help you see things more objectively, to step away from the relationship space and to view it from more detached perspectives where you can see some things that maybe you want to change around. Maybe there's things that you're ready to approach differently. I feel like Venus retrograde is an interesting time too to check in with our relationship skills, which is not something we're taught actively as we grow up, as we move through our teenage years into adulthood. We're not taught healthy relationship skills. And yet it's such a vital area of our life where we need connection, we need friendship, we need people who understand us, who get us. And so this could be showing you what is and isn't working in relationships that you have the power to do differently, to approach in a new manner. And this Venus retrograde lasts until September 4th. And so all of August, Venus is retrograde in Leo. And in Leo, she is strong. She can hold her ground. She tunes into what she truly wants and needs. And there's also an energy here of energetically checking in to see what gives me strength in my heart space. Where do I feel more alive and powerful and confident? Create from a fresh place based on trusting the slowdown of the Venus retrograde energies, where there maybe isn't this urgent, impulsive need to do something right now, but to slow down and check in with yourself, be more intentional. Is this what I want? And you could find that the universe is putting something on pause, putting you on pause, putting another person on pause, putting a situation on pause, an experience, something that is asking you to go deeper into what is this really about for me? Have I truly been wanting this in my life, or am I simply running on autopilot from previous versions of myself? Venus retrograde can also bring up what you need to review in relation to feminine energies in your world and in your life. And that's because Venus rules feminine expressions. And so this is where you could notice some themes coming up around women, females, feminine energy. Granted, this is a big category, but it might help understand what is going on if you're looking at things and wondering why certain changes have unfolded, maybe even why some things are a little bumpy or uncertain. The Venus retrograde can be removing and stirring up things to help you see it in a different light, or to see something you didn't see before. Now, we have, as I said, both the Sun and Venus in Leo right now, and they're both going to be making squares to planets in Taurus. So the Sun in Leo is going to square Jupiter in Taurus at 14 degrees on August 6th, followed by Venus retrograde in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus at 22 degrees on August 9th. So these are the two areas of your chart right now that are basically calling for more of your energy. So that would be the Leo and Taurus areas of your chart, specifically at 14 and 22 degrees. And these planets in Taurus are squaring the planets in Leo, which is bringing up something that the universe doesn't want you to overlook or to miss or to not consider, because those planets in Taurus are holding the frequency of your innate self-value, self-worth. And sometimes that Leo energy, it can be too overly focused on, this is what I want, this is what I need. It can be very focused on self. And I feel that both Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus are sending a frequency to check in and ensure that what you're truly putting energy into is what you want. And there can be some surprises that show up that remind you of that particular frequency. So as I said, August 6th, the Sun in Leo squares Jupiter in Taurus. And this is often the energy of magnification and amplification, because the square to Jupiter in Taurus makes things bigger. It could feel all or nothing. It can feel very expansive, but almost to the point of, how do I work with this? How do I hold all this stuff? And the other side of this is that there can be things that are being amplified so that you can see the bigger picture. Now, not only is Jupiter a very expansive energy, it's about the wisdom we accumulate throughout our life, what we're learning, what we're understanding, how we are growing. And so how we are taking that and really putting it into our physical experiences, meaning we are really understanding more of what we value. And Jupiter in Taurus is all about our physical reality, what we create and call in to our tangible everyday lives. Taurus relating to our core sense of values, our core sense of self. So this could be a week when you have some real clarity about who you are and who you are not, about what you want and what you don't want. There could be some very big messages coming through from the universe that also remind you of what you've already learned, what you've already mastered, and to ensure that you see that in terms of anything that you want or that you're moving into, anything that you're creating right now. Jupiter is also moving slowly because Jupiter will be stationing retrograde September 4th, and that date probably sounds familiar because it's the same day that Venus stations direct. So Jupiter is moving slowly right now at 14 degrees, and there is something here to make sure you're not giving it away, to make sure that you're really grounding it in, not getting caught up in something exciting or something that you're moving into. Like, I'm seeing this as a very interesting internal negotiation, almost like if you find yourself having to think something through, to really sit with it, decide, make sure you're seeing perhaps all angles or understanding how it would work with someone else or affect something else. There's something here to make sure that you're not negotiating away anything that you truly need and want, and to be clear on what that is, that you're actually bringing in new energy or new things that ground you, that stabilize you. And what I'm picking up here is that Jupiter in Taurus is traveling behind Uranus and Taurus. So this area of your chart, this area of your life was previously dismantled. It was shaken up. Things were changed around. Maybe there were some big energies here in your life or in your world. But now Jupiter is bringing in what you need to grow from it, to learn from it, but from a sense of being in more of who you are and knowing that you're worth it. So this is very strong energy around self-worth. And again, going back to that term negotiating away, it feels like don't downplay yourself. Don't lessen what you need or what you want or what you're capable of, but also don't overdo it. Don't think you have to over demonstrate because the square to the sun in Leo can be too much pride, too much confidence. It can be bigger than your britches. And so this is something where the universe is saying, okay, look at what you've learned. Look at how far you've come. Yes, this part of your life or this part of your world is looking very different right now, but allow that to strengthen you without going over the top or overcompensating, also without overcommitting or over-investing. So it is very important to watch your finances right now, to watch where you're spending money, what is necessary, what is essential. The Venus retrograde is a time to not spend as much, to review, to look at where money is going out, where money is coming in. But the square with Jupiter in Taurus could push you to go buy all new furniture for every room in the house. That's part of the over-the-top energy of a square from Jupiter in Taurus. So looking for that middle ground, even if the energy gets really big at times, is important because that means, too, you won't regret it. Now, Jupiter in Taurus and Uranus in Taurus are ruled by Venus retrograde because Venus rules Taurus. So they are also feeling the effects of this Venus retrograde and requiring us to be even more mindful of the Venus themes. So in addition to Jupiter in Taurus squaring the Sun in Leo, we also have Uranus in Taurus squaring Venus retrograde in Leo. That happens at 22 degrees on August 9th. So 22 degrees of Leo, 22 degrees of Taurus. And this energy also highlights what is working for you and what is not. I feel like these two squares are busting something out. They're just making it so evident, so clear. Something either stays or goes. And the energy pressure means that there's also going to be some things leaving or ending or clearing out because it isn't a fit with your true power. I'm seeing this as the solar plexus power, the creation power as well of the sacral chakra, but I'm feeling it as something that becomes too uncomfortable the longer you stay or the longer you participate or you go down a path, or there's something here that can continue to feel like it's not a match for you, it's not a fit, if there isn't change, if change doesn't happen. And this is the week where change is happening to set you free. To set you free from something that isn't for your best or highest good, from something that isn't true or pure, that isn't really a reflection of what you need, what you want. And when Uranus squares this Venus retrograde, there can be shock. There can be unexpected developments. And this is the second of 3 times that Uranus is squaring Venus. So the first was the beginning of July 1st through 3rd. The second time is now this week, about August 9th to the 12th, because of how slowly Venus is moving. And then the third time will be the end of September 28th to September 30th. So we're moving through a deeper revolutionary process, okay? It's going in deeper to continue to shake the apple tree. And you could feel like some things are being shaken very deeply and they're falling off, they're falling away. Venus is ruling this Uranus and Taurus, as I mentioned, since Venus rules Taurus. So this is a deep reprogramming. Like there's something deeper here where the universe wants to shake you free. From any misplaced loyalties, from anything that doesn't truly respect you, from anything that isn't honoring your power. Because I'm actually seeing this energy going into the roots. I'm seeing it as a root energy, and I'm getting that image of trying to take out an energy by the root. And whether that is the root of a tree or even the root source of something you thought was healthy, strong, good, clean. The universe is shaking things up here because there's something you need to see. And so I'm seeing it as the energy is shaking loose more information, more truth, more facts. And I'm seeing it as something that potentially you're already tuning into through that third eye chakra. That energy of, oh, wow, I didn't see this side of it. I didn't see this person in this light before. I didn't realize this was who they really are, the root of their personality or their character. This is where we get surprises. And the surprises can come when we're too much in our ego mind and not in our intuition, not trusting the energy. So there's something here where you're meant to see the truth. And that's part of how Uranus awakens. It sets us free from our own delusions or from our own limited perspectives. And because it's squaring Venus, it relates to women, friendships, sisters, girlfriends, lovers, partners, wives. Again, the feminine expressions in your world. And you could see the truth of something or someone This can be a wonderful, delightful truth, by the way. This could be something that lights you up and is like, oh, wow, what a great gift. What a great development. It doesn't have to be something that is hard to understand or difficult to take. But it is about seeing and opening up to what you didn't previously acknowledge. And because this happens 3 times, I feel like it's also uncovering more layers of our energy, like more layers of our own ability to tune in to someone's true self and their true character. And I'm getting the image too of, someone who can be really difficult at work. Like in the workplace, they're kind of a hard ass. They're not easy to talk to. There's certain things about them. Maybe they give off a certain air or a certain energy that makes them intimidating or just not great to be around. And then you hang out with them or you run into them outside of the workplace and you realize they're a totally different person, or you didn't know all of who they were. You just saw their role at work and you didn't see maybe their family life or how they are as a partner or how much they enjoy certain hobbies or whatever it might be. So there's something here where people are going to be surprising us. We are going to be surprising each other with true colors. You're going to see more true colors. And again, this can be a wonderful surprise. This could also be something where you're really disappointed or you're like, wow, I didn't think that's who that person was, but that's what their actions are demonstrating. That's what's coming through in their character. And there could even be a liberation from the realization. And because Venus retrograde is moving slowly, it could feel like something's in slow motion and that you're watching it or you're a part of it. Of course, choose whatever resonates. But there's something too where Venus backtracks. Venus is backtracking here through her retrograde. There's also something that maybe you previously missed that the universe is showing you because you knew it or felt it at a deeper level of your being. And so if there has been something percolating or just kind of not going away and it's hanging around, that message or that energy could be part of what the universe wants you to really see and understand right now, so that you're also trusting the energy more, you're trusting yourself more, and you're allowing that to lead you. We are now in very fast moving energy that has accelerated. And things are going to collapse faster. Things are going to come apart faster. And then things can also come together faster as well. And there's things that can develop at more of a rapid speed. So understand too that a lot of this week could feel unstable, that there are some big ups, some big downs, some big crashes, but also some big growth. And I'm specifically feeling this as spiritual growth, where you can see what you were learning, what you were moving through, what you needed to understand, no matter how it plays out in the physical world. I'm also feeling this Uranus square Venus retrograde as the end of soul contracts with certain specifically romantic connections, because Venus in Leo is about matters of the heart, what we love, what we're attracted to, what we desire. And so there could be some developments this week that are about the endings of those connections or those soul contracts. And then I see unexpected ones arriving, almost like you meet somebody out of the blue, or you make a new friend at work, or someone comes through and you realize you have a lot in common with them. Where did you come from? You get along great. It has that very all or nothing energy. And it's also part of how the Uranian frequency works so quickly. It's that very much out of the blue development that can be a lot for our mind to grasp or understand at first. But that's how the universe works. The universe works in energy. And when the energy is open, clean, and pure, things can come through rapidly. Things can show up so quickly because there's an opening for it. On a more mundane level, this could be big bursts of creative expression or intuitive downloads around what you want to do next, what you want to create next. This could give you clarity into various things you've been learning or understanding. So I feel like what we're moving through this week is going to bring us to some deeper understandings of what is really important in our relationships, in our connections. Again, what you don't want to give up or negotiate away, what you also don't want to downplay, and you want to recognize and acknowledge as parts of who you are now. And as always, this energy will be working with you more personally if you have planets or points right around where these transits are occurring. So for this particular one, with Venus retrograde squaring Uranus and Taurus at 22 degrees, it would basically be 21, 22, and 23 degrees of the fixed signs. And the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius. So that's where this energy is going to be the most potent, and where you will feel it more personally if you have planets or points between 21 to 23 degrees of the fixed signs. Now, as this energy revs up this week, we thankfully have both Mars and Mercury moving through Virgo, which keeps us grounded, focused, working, wanting to see what needs to be taken care of, what is in front of you that is important, what is your responsibility. And Mercury in Virgo is going to trine Jupiter in Taurus at 14 degrees on August 9th. And this is a practical approach to what you need to get done. This can be a day of very beneficial communications and developments. Again, August 9th. And this is where that Mercury in Virgo has a boost of energy and support from Jupiter and Taurus to move something forward, to make plans, make arrangements, to say what you need to say, to be very clear in your communication as well, because Mercury in Virgo is very much about choices of words, tone of words, what you're really communicating, how you're saying it in a way that's effective, and also looking at what is really essential for me to say and what is not. And so this can help you with streamlining anything important that you need to communicate or express. And it also brings in something that comes together. And that could be something as well, that you're having this experience of things are lining up based on what you're meant to move into or move towards, even amongst these other challenges or changes that are unfolding in relationships, or more specifically between the Leo and Taurus areas of your chart. The Taurus and Virgo areas of your chart are ready to go, are ready to make moves, get things done. And Mercury is in his shadow zone right now. So keep that in mind, that Mercury in Virgo in the shadow energy means that things coming up right now are most likely going to need to be reviewed during the retrograde phase. Now, this Mercury in Virgo will station retrograde on August 23rd at 21 degrees of Virgo, and will travel back to 8 degrees of Virgo until September 16th. So we'll talk more about that as we get a bit closer to it. But just a heads up that Mercury in his shadow means it's very important to review details right now. Very, very, very important. And that's because Virgo rules details. Virgo loves the minutia, the terms and conditions, what is the fine print here. So make sure that you are looking at all that, and also not missing anything, not going too fast, not skipping over it, because if you do, or if there's something that is missed or overlooked, it will definitely come back around during the upcoming Mercury retrograde in Virgo. The other energy that's coming through this week is about money and finances, the cost of things. Yes, we're living in a time of inflation and interest rates going up, and being more aware of what we have to spend in order to get what we want, and also perhaps feeling like some things are ridiculously priced, overpriced, etc. This is a week too where you could look at where the money is being spent in your life and just making some new choices. I'm also feeling like we aren't meant to be overwhelmed by the financial energy on the planet at this time. Rather, come back into your innate power. Come back into your prosperity consciousness and look at where you're feeling yourself. I'm seeing it as shut down in your power, or the overwhelm, or feeling like it's all too much around finances. There's something big about financial energies right now that can really affect us energetically, can actually go into some of our unconscious belief systems around money, around what we think we're worth and what we think we can create in our lives based on financial energy. And if you're feeling or sensing messages like this, if something is, I'm seeing a standstill. If you're feeling like something is at a standstill, you don't know what to choose, you're feeling stuck, and it's because of financial energy, go higher into the unlimited abundance on this planet and open up to trusting that frequency, and to further work through any financial fears, any financial overwhelm, anything with money right now that could be too much. I'm feeling like there's something here that maybe the universe is pointing you towards to look at and to be in your power around abundance, prosperity, wealth consciousness, money. And this doesn't simply mean the money in your bank account or what you earn. I'm talking about the overall abundance of financial flow on this planet, and whether or not you're honoring yourself as an abundant creator in all forms, because the financial part is important, right? You pay rent, pay your mortgage, you buy delicious nectarines at Trader Joe's, have to pay utilities, car insurance, car payment, etc. But what I'm feeling here is that if anything is feeling heavy, burdensome, and stuck, open up to the unlimited streams of abundance that move through us, move through this planet, move around this planet, and trust whatever you're seeing around that, whatever visuals or imagery is coming through, because I'm feeling this energy now ties into root chakra fears, survival fears, and also maybe some primal fears that perhaps you've carried across multiple lifetimes. I'm feeling too like it's important to continually cleanse and pure your connection to financial energy, to abundance consciousness regularly, similar to needing to shower regularly and to cleanse the physical body. There's something here where if this energy only gets your attention when you're stressed out, that would be something very important to look at in yourself. Or if something only grabs your attention when you are really worried about it, but you're not actively managing your own financial energy, that's something else to look at. So there's something here about being very honest with yourself in terms of your relationship to money, finances, abundance, prosperity, which ultimately is connected to your self-value and self-worth. It's up to you to raise the bar. That is your free will. That is your choice. Sort of like when you go to negotiate your salary, or maybe you're asking for a raise, you have to stand in your own corner and say, this is why I'm worth it. This is what I bring to the table. And it's up to you to be that advocate for yourself. And I feel like this is a powerful time to be your own advocate for abundance and prosperity, whatever that means for you. Again, it doesn't have to simply be financial. It can be anything that you want to create in your life. And this is a week to really self-examine your creative power. How is that showing up for you? What is working? What is not? What is falling apart because it doesn't resonate, or it's not mutual, or it's not good for you anymore? Conversely, what is coming together because it has your name on it, it supports you, it's connected to a confident sense of self and your talents and gifts and abilities. This is a week where some things are going to be made very evident to you. about how this energy is running in your life, as well as how it's running through you, perhaps in ways you didn't see before. And because we have two powerful squares this week, again, between Sun in Leo squaring Jupiter in Taurus, Venus retrograde in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus, whenever there's a square, there is an energy that's going to be more dominant. And I'm feeling like the more dominant energy is Taurus, which is interesting when you consider that we're in Leo season. But those outer planets in Taurus are applying pressure to your creative power, asking you to check in on what are you getting in return. That's a very Taurus question. What's my ROI? What's my return on investment? How is this fortifying me? How is this working for me? How is it not working for me? And there's things this week that are going to show you very clearly what is working, what is not, what stays, what goes, and then how to move forward from there. Now we also have Pluto retrograde in Capricorn tightly squaring the nodes of fate still. They are at 28 degrees. If you have planets or points at 28 degrees of the cardinal signs, so 28 degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn, this is a pivotal time for you of deep transformation, but it also brings up karma. It brings up what you need to learn from. This could also be a time too of applying pressure on parts of your life and parts of your world that you haven't looked at for a while. And here comes this Pluto squaring the North Node and the South Node, saying that there's things that have to close out and end. There are important endings here. And it's interesting because that South Node in Libra is also ruled by Venus. Venus rules all the planets in Taurus and the planets or points in Libra. So this Venus retrograde is showing up a lot through multiple reverberations right now, which brings us back to the theme of relationships and self-value, self-worth. I feel like we're deeply reprogramming what it means to have satisfying relationships that are true to us, satisfying connections that really matter, that are really based on what's important in life. And so this can also be something coming up where you're examining maybe past relationships, past friendships, past connections, perhaps even ones that you're in at this time that are showing you things that you're maybe saying, yeah, I can't do this anymore. I don't want this anymore. This isn't really who I am, what I'm about, or what I'm actively choosing. Pluto squaring the nodes of fate is a very big energy. It works with the collective in terms of having us get clear on our own unconscious, on what we've been holding back and not seeing in ourselves so that we can see it and we can actively work with it to be more in our power and our truth. This can also show up as difficult conversations. This can show up as some big endings and breakups in relationships. This could show up as I have to choose myself, or I need to trust what I want or go my own way. So there is something here that really brings up how we're connecting and sharing energies with others. And I'm just feeling like this is a week of big relationship changes that have already been happening in the background, that maybe have already been on your mind, already been things you've been processing. Now, if you're in a long-term connection, this is where you're looking to upgrade. What can we do differently? What can we do together? What is something that both of us want in our life now? How can this strengthen us as a dynamic duo or as a friendship or in work or whatever it might be for you? How can these energies help us evolve together? And if not, it could feel like things just have to fall away, or there's something here too that it could be about breaking some karmic cycles for yourself, breaking karmic cycles for yourself. Again, not negotiating away what you need for the sake of a connection or the sake of a relationship, but really honoring that, even when it's uncomfortable. Because that is part of this energy signature, is that there's a discomfort, almost like, should we stay together? Should we not? Should this friendship continue? Should it not? Should I stay in this workplace? Do I want to be with these people still? It brings up some bigger life questions. around how you are interacting, sharing, and if it's truly something that is for your best and highest good right now, or if it just feels like a heaviness and you just have to slog through it. And if you're not sure, if there's some things that you're just waiting it out, riding the waves, let's see where this goes, I would guess that by the middle of August, it's going to be a lot clearer, because coming up in the middle of August, when the sun squares Uranus and then Venus retrograde moves behind the sun, that's also an energy shift in what you really truly want. So we'll talk more about that next week, especially since that energy is tied into the Leo new moon happening on August 16th at 23 degrees of Leo. And I'll have a video for you on YouTube showing that chart and going through those energetics as well. I also did a podcast episode for you discussing the major astrological energies of August. So if you want that heads up and monthly overview, please check out that podcast as well. I wanted to thank those of you who have reached out and inquired about my family member Jaden and his ongoing health issues. I shared a number of months ago that Jaden is a part of my family who has aplastic anemia, which is a very rare blood condition where his body hasn't been able to create new blood cells, and it has to do with your bone marrow. And so he has had bone marrow through a stem cell transplant, and he went through that stem cell transplant on June 21st and has been doing exceedingly well ever since then. He has to be in recovery for at least 100 days, and that means that he has to be basically in a protected environment so that his immune system is not compromised. He doesn't pick up anything that could damage him or set him back. And so he had a successful surgery and is currently moving through his healing phase where his numbers are going up, his body's doing well, his body has received the transplant and is responding very well to this part of his healing, but he's not even halfway through yet. I believe 100 days will be the end of September when they'll see where he's finally at. But it's doing very well. He's doing great. He's on necessary medications and he is able to continually rest as much as needed so that his body can regenerate and can start creating these blood cells again. Jaden is 19 years old. He's a Capricorn. He is a very strong young man. And of course, my family is very happy and relieved about this development and his ongoing healing through all of this. And I just want to say again, thank you so much to those of you who have reached out, who have connected, who have donated, which is above and beyond anything that was expected. And even just your energetic support and healing wishes have done so much for this young man. So thank you for asking. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for reaching out and asking how he's doing and checking in, because it has all made a difference. It has absolutely helped. And I just want you to know that because we all really appreciate it. And among other things, this has been a wonderful experience around the strength of family and the strength of community, how we need each other and how it's during our most vulnerable phases that we need each other to show up and be there for us even more. So as I continue to sound like a broken record, thank you again for your energy, healing, support, and beautiful words that you've sent our way. And on that note, thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back every Monday and Wednesday for another podcast episode. Be sure and check out what's on my YouTube playlists for you so you can dive into more of your astrological energies and charts even more. And all of my current astrology programs can be found at mollymccord.online, where I have a growing library of astrology courses for you to become your own astrologer, be your own energy guide so that you can see what's happening in your chart, what's showing up for you this year. This is especially powerful if you have a birthday coming up and you want to know what is going to be some themes for you over the next 12 months. And it would be very good to go into the solar return course to see the themes, to see the highlights, to see what the universe will be bringing your way on your birthday and through that following 12-month cycle. So be sure and check out my courses, and I hope that they support you in working with your energy even more powerfully. Wishing you a beautiful entry here into August. Hoping you have a great week, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take good care, and I'll see you back here on Monday.